Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, dear listeners, dear viewers. Welcome to another episode of COMETSA Television Network. This is called COMETSA Tuesdays Live. These shows come to you this time, same time, South Africa Standard Time, 1800 hours. The first Tuesday of the month, we look at the membership profile. We profile some of our members and their organizations, companies. The second Tuesday, we look at what we refer to as authorship and readership. The third Tuesday, we look at executive coaching, mentoring, and then the last Tuesday of the month, we look at the Lekgotla African Facilitation Methodology. Welcome. The mind, the journey, the destiny. We apply our mind to the journey that takes us to our destiny. Our shows are based on the principle we call the IDEA, which stands for we inform, we develop, we empower, and we associate. That is the mind, the idea. So the series is managing professional and executive coaching and mentoring, and we are exploring the business practices, management, and impact through coaching. My name is Ntlemeza. I'm hosting this show this evening, as always, and I have special guests in the house. I will be introducing them to you just now. We are reflecting on the 3,000th coaching sessions in terms of hours, and then of course 1,740 coaching sessions in terms of hosting guests. Reflection by the executive coaching clients on growth, transformation, and the impact that coaching has brought to their life. This conversation marks a milestone of more than 16 years of learning, of growth, service, partnership, and reflection through coaching. Tonight's conversation is different. Rather than hearing from the coaches, we are going to hear from the clients, the people that experience coaching from the point of view of the client. So the guests I'm having this evening, they are really dear to me. We have journeyed together for a while, and I've observed them undergoing a wonderful transformation, if I may say. They will tell you where it started, how it started, and what it means to them. Firstly, we have Matheko Waleng. She's the Director for Executive Search and Global Co-Lead ICT Practice Group at SIGNIUM Africa. The second guest is Mr. Mabaso, who is the Deputy General Manager at Garden Court Hotel, Sandton City. The third guest is Mr. Ntlemeza, Senior Manager, Lending at Standard Bank. So that's the lineup. And we are joined by our dear Lindy Roderick as our regular observer guest, and she will be reflecting at the end of the show. And then, of course, all the way from Francistown in Botswana, my dear friend, Emmanuel Njang, who is a speaker and mentor and author himself, and a coach. He is also our observer guest, and he will be giving us some reflection based on what we shall have heard from our guests. We're going to start very slow by asking our guests to just say a few words, greet you, our viewers, and perhaps just tell you how it all started. Just in that light-hearted way, and then I will be engaging with them in the benefit of you, the viewers. Hope, I'm going to start with you. How have you been doing, my friend? So wonderful to reconnect with you. It's very nostalgic when one think of the first encounter that I had with you. But just say hi to the viewers, tell them who you are. I've told them you're already that you're at Garden Court Hotel. Is it Garden Court? Sandton City. Over to you, my friend. Hope, just unmute yourself and just greet our viewers and tell them a bit about yourself.
Very welcome to everyone and your listeners as well. And thank you for tuning in tonight. My name is Hope Mabaso. As Sam has alluded, I'm the Deputy General Manager for Garden Court Sandton City, one of the biggest garden courts in our group, and our group is Southern Sun. My role in what I do as a duty manager is just to focus on driving excellence while empowering teams using structured leadership methodologies that I've learned from Sam and his coaching methodologies as well. My purpose in life is to lead and impact and unlock potential in others. I'm very passionate about coaching and mentoring as well. So if anyone would like to connect with me, we can connect via LinkedIn or we can connect via my socials at Hope Mabaso, Facebook and Instagram.
Beautiful. Do you still remember those early days?
Hey, Sam. I was actually looking at our first meeting. It was 2015 when I first had engagement with you. And funny enough, we engaged when I was still working for Beachwood Hotel. I was one of the senior managers there. And I was mostly managing and leading, and my responsibilities were mostly based on my experience that I had at that time, because I was never exposed to coaching and mentoring as one of the tools I could use as a manager. So I met Sam. He was coaching our senior managers team, and after that, I remember when I was leaving Beachwood, I was very confused and very nervous on what am I going to do with my life after that. And I remember I phoned Sam and said, Sam, I'm stuck, because I didn't have a plan, to be honest, on what I was going to do after Beachwood. And then I remember phoning Sam, and Sam, as gracious that he is, he offered me a very negotiated deal. I don't know if you can still remember, Sam.
I do.
I'm saying very negotiated deal because that's what I could afford at the time. But the arrangement was incredibly professional. I remember Portia used to send me the meeting request and pre-coaching sessions as well that I had to, and pre-reads that I had to, and the books that I had to read. So it was very interesting at that time. That I was obviously never exposed to coaching and mentoring, but with that support, it made it a seamless exercise. I remember my first coaching that I attended when I went to Sam's office in Kempton Park. And the first thing that we did was to check in. And I'm so amazed with how you've kept the ritual of body, mind, and spirit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I actually thought that we were going to check in today. I was prepared.
welcome to that one. Welcome to that one.
My first encounter with Sam was amazing, and it's always been amazing till now. So yeah.
Beautiful. Great, great indeed. What a journey. Eric, my friend, yours is a different story. Over to you.
I thought you were going to say ladies first, but I see you decided to go with.
This time we reversed
I was waiting to
tables.
go last since I was counting like we're gonna go with Matheko, then Hope, then me. But anyway, the roles are reversed today. Good evening, everyone. My name is Eric Ntlemeza. Just like Sam mentioned, I am currently at Standard Bank, one of the senior managers looking after the lending space. My current portfolio in today's world, I'm mostly focused on student funding. Basically, what I do, just in short, every day, I make sure that I find people's journey. So what I do is make sure that I find your dreams in whatever way possible or wherever I can. That's actually my daily job. I fight battles to actually make people that go to school, which is one of the things actually, or how I actually met Mr. Ntlemeza. But we'll get to that. So I also push every day to make sure that people do go to school. Yeah, I think just overall what I do, I think from a personal level, I am an entrepreneur myself, very much passionate in anything what is fintech, innovation, local township development. Count me in it any day. I know it's sort of contradictory to what I do, which is actually funding. But if you can look at it, they're somehow linked because it's also about developing people as well, actually funding people in their education journey. So I think on my side, that's basically what I am.
Perhaps let's take it from there. Just tell the people the encounter we had and how we were brought together.
So for me, our encounter actually was quite an interesting one. I think it was about in 2020, if I remember, during just before the hard lockdown days, just before, I think around March, if I'm not mistaken. It was I don't think I was a person who would actually pursue coaching at that time. Anything that has to do with coaching can cut me out because I sort of had this mentality, if I can put it. It's like, now I'm going to be, this one is going to now evaluate my mind, sort of psychology, like I don't want to. So how we met is that actually I was starting my first year as an MBA student at Johannesburg Business School and the University of Johannesburg. So as part of the curriculum, it was for us to have all personal coaches and also business coaches. So we were introduced, our group coaches, which were more personal and also business coaches. So we introduced to Mr. Ntlemeza. He was part of the group. He mentioned a few interesting in our first encounter. I think I was very reluctant even speaking to him at that time. I could hear you speaking, but I could not hear you at the same time. Couldn't wait for the session to end because I was like, I don't want him to analyze me. Because I'm that person, like I will only allow you if I'm very much comfortable with you. So at that time, didn't want to open up at any point in time. I think we had, as much as it was part of the curriculum, basically I had a gun on my head to actually comply because as part of the curriculum, if I don't do it, I stand to fail. Very interesting. We had a few sessions because they were facilitated by the school. I think once I had graduated, actually interesting enough, I went and actually contacted Mr. Ntlemeza. Now it was me now to say, I want us to continue in this chain. I think we did about a year or so, which I was part of the member of COMETSA. We did about a year of those one-on-one check-ins, also a hope. I was also ready that reflection. I know they used to at that point that didn't like them, but at some point, yeah, those reflection moments were the times when now I could just let go. It's for me to reflect. No, nothing, pause, think and reflect. Very important. I think for me, without talking so much, the thing that actually I took from our coaching sessions, which today I even take it, I think you did mention it today, and I took it. It was now when we were doing those one-on-one sessions together. You say Eric, always go for that opportunity. Reach out to, and I'll pick on you, Hope, because your name is easy to pronounce. I think you can never be afraid to actually ask a person anything or say anything to anyone or actually go for that opportunity, what is the worst thing that can happen? The worst thing that can happen is a no. We move on. Is it going to change the price of bread? Is it going to change my name? Absolutely not. So I think even today, it's something I use. The worst case scenario, I'll reach out, I'll call you, I'll send you an email. The worst case scenario is for you to blue tick me or to even say no. And then we move on to another thing. The second one, which I also learned from the school and also from you, it's everyone I meet in life, it's an opportunity to get three things out of them. You must. It's an opportunity to learn, unlearn, or relearn. I've realized if I meet Hope, it's either he's there for a reason for me to learn something from him, to help me relearn something, or to unlearn something. So I think for me, from those sessions, I think during our times, those were the two things. Even today, I use them, and actually I'm cruising because they help me so much. Because upfront, when I meet a person, I'm like, okay, there's a reason I'm meeting these people. After our encounter or after I've had a conversation with them, I know I'm expecting to either have learned something, I've relearned something, or they're going to help me unlearn something, which all these years, actually, it was never. Or then maybe, like I say, get an aha moment. One of the things that you, as part of this, to say, what is that aha moment? It's like, oh, okay, now I know why I had to meet this person. Yeah, I think on my side, that's typically that, but very much grateful.
Beautiful, beautiful. What a reunion, my friend. It's such a wonderful thing to do, to reflect. Those were difficult days because you guys had to meet us and we had to have a conversation. But when you came back on your own, it was really when it really started to shape us jointly. Thank you so much for that reflection. Matheko, over to you.
Hi, Sam. Hi, everybody, and to your viewers also. Thank you so much for the invite. I was also a bit nervous about it, but I think I'm settled into the discussion now. By way of introduction, my name is Matheko Waleng, and I'm a director at SIGNIUM Africa. And what we are is we are part of a global leadership consulting and executive search firm. And what that essentially means is that we partner with organizations across various sectors to recruit, to develop, and to retain the top leadership, so C-suite. We work across South Africa and sub-Saharan Africa. And essentially, in terms of our broader service offering, it also includes human capital assessment, culture advisory, leadership development, and strategy facilitation. And why I mention that, Sam, I'm basically just answering your next question, is that when I was given the opportunity to get involved or to go for coaching, I jumped at it because I was well aware of the benefits of coaching. And in no way did I see it as punitive or a negative mark on my name or on my brand. I jumped at the opportunity because I knew what it would yield. And so how Sam and I met, my my two then bosses, who are currently my business partners, they met Sam at the German chamber. I think Sam at that point was also still on the advisory panel for the German chamber. And so they attended a German chamber event and they met Sam, and immediately they thought of Theko, or they thought of me, and how Sam could, how we could grow this relationship or how this relationship could be beneficial. And so they came back to the office and they're like, we want to make you a partner at the firm or a director and shareholder, but there's a few things that we feel you need to work on from a leadership perspective. And so here, Sam, let's see what comes of this relationship. And so we had our initial session. Sam, I forgot what you call it, but we had our initial session. Chemistry session. You can see that I really didn't like science at school. Then we had our chemistry session, and to be honest, when I left there, I just felt like, wow, I really don't know much. But it also just encouraged me to immerse myself in the journey, so that when we eventually done with our journey, I know much more than what I came in with. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah, that was a very interesting, very quick encounter, and then big project came out of it.
Yes,
of 12
absolutely.
months. And
Yes.
And I'm very glad that all the intentions with it were almost achieved, and you're still there, right?
Yes, absolutely. I'm still at
Yeah.
SIGNIUM Africa. I'm now partner and shareholder, or director and shareholder. And so we're part of SIGNIUM globally. And I'm also co-lead or head of the ICT, or Information Communication Technology practice group. And what that involves is knowledge sharing, business development initiatives together, as well as thought leadership projects that I lead and facilitate with my colleague. And I think your coaching sessions, Sam, have also elevated me to be able to, stand with confidence, or sit with confidence with even people who are more senior than myself, or big or heavy hitters, and just enter the room with confidence and grace. So yeah.
Beautiful. Wow. How many countries is SIGNIUM represented?
In about 33 countries. And there's representation in every continent.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Great stuff. Wow. Before we continue, I'm going to ask our observer guests, my colleagues Lindy and Emmanuel, to also greet our viewers shortly, because they're going to have a great opportunity at the end of our conversation to sum it up for us and reflect on our conversations. Let's start with you, Brother Emmanuel, all the way from Francistown, Botswana.
Thank you so much, Sam. The great lineup here. I don't know what to say, but I'm really amazed by this three amazing guests you are having here. It shows the impact and amount of work that you are putting to bring all this together. And then it's something that I always say, that we don't take these things for granted. And having people who gives you time, their resources and everything, it's not an easy thing. But we are grateful to have people like Matheko, Hope, and Eric to share their journey with us, because the journey is what is more important than where they than just the destination. So we learn from them and take it from there. I'm Emmanuel Njang from Botswana. I'm sitting here in Francistown, but I consider myself a global villager, because I don't think there's any place that I would go today and maybe miss a chance to find 2 or 3 people that I know. And that to me, it's a village. That's how we build a family. That's how we build a community. So nice to be here, and I'm looking forward to amazing minutes of this show. Thank you so much, Sam.
Thank you, Brother Emmanuel. Emmanuel is a regular here at our COMETSA shows. We always get a different perspective. It's not just very much, as he says, sitting and doing nothing there in Botswana. He is part of youth leadership across the SADC and across the continent. Am I right? To do some work with the SADC youth structures? You want to tell us a bit about that?
Definitely. I'm working with Southern Africa Youth Forum, which is SAYOF, We are hosting our 8th conference next month in Joburg, South Africa, from the 21st to the 24th of July. So I look forward to maybe see 2 or 3 of your guests here while in Joburg. So I know I haven't told you about it, but I'm in Joburg from next month.
Yeah, I'm sure our brother in the hotel space is listening very attentively.
Definitely.
Thank you.
I'm definitely listening, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So after this talk, you know who to call, Emmanuel.
I know it's easy now.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Lindy, say a few words and then we get back to our guests.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Sam, for including me. Once again, this is my second time to observe and learn and unlearn and more learning. I don't have any title yet, and I just thank Mr. Sam for really believing in some type of potential that I have to elevate me to be part of a very dynamic group and team, and just to observe and learn, and I'm really grateful to be here. One day I'll be able to, not even one day, soon I'll be able to tell myself and be more than just an observer. Yes, thank you so much.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Lindy. It's such a wonderful reminder, colleagues, that for everything we do, there is always somebody that brings the idea to us, or in coaching, we call it a sponsor. Am I right to say that all of you, the 3 of you, have mentioned some sort of a organization or program or a person that said, hey, you may need a coach? I know Sam at COMETSA, or could be any other person. Maybe go and have a chat with him, and perhaps you could embark on a coaching journey. Having said that, what role do you think sponsors play in opening doors for people to embark on a coaching journey? I mean, let's go back to you, Hope, if you recollect how you became part of that journey, and what emotions went through, what emotions and feelings and thoughts were evoked by that first suggestion. Yeah. And how did you deal with them?
With me, I can say Lindiwe was always sort of a sponsor in my career. I'm saying here because when we were still at Birchwood Hotel, she was the CEO there and a mentor to all of us. But even life after Birchwood, she became a mentor to me as well, because I could go to visit her hotel, and I did some of training for her staff in the food and beverage department as well. So, and then with that and the relationship that she had with you, it was easy for her to just suggest that I speak to you as well, because obviously when I was speaking to her, she knew that I was struggling with making choices at that time. So she became a sponsor in that regard, especially from the mentoring perspective, and obviously now suggesting you as a coach. At least it gave me the broader aspect of what I wanted to do. I remember in one of our coaching sessions when you introduced the choice model, I think that gave me an idea of what I wanted to do as well. So if it wasn't for her, I would say I wouldn't have known you like I did, and you, for her to play that role as a sponsor in my life as well, led me to actually understand what I needed at the time.
Beautiful. So taking those recommendations, when you look back now, it must be very scary if you try to think, had I not accepted, what would have happened?
True. Have I not sat with Sam and went through the choice model, would I have reached a point of making that decision? And that's what I live with. In everything that I do, I use the same methodologies that you introduced in my life as well.
Beautiful. And of course, with Eric, it was a given, it was a mandatory requirement. Although Eric still, as a student of the MBA program, he still had a choice to say, no, I want to be part of the program, but not Sam. He still had a choice of saying, this coach, not this.
I think so. Yes, I had the choice, but I think because, like I mentioned, it wasn't something at that time that I was very much invested in or very familiar. So I didn't have a business case for me to say I want this coach because I feel this one is better than this one. So I went to choose him because I'm like, I'm giving you a chance based on the things that were quite interesting. In our first meeting, I think it was a group of us at that time. Very few interesting tricks that you say. For example, we will mention something like, there's a way where you can actually relax your body and mind, even though you sleep 3 hours. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna give this guy a chance to hear. Seems like he knows his story. Let me give him a chance so that I wanna know how am I able to have 6 hours of sleep in 3 hours. I think those are one of the things that intrigued me to say, I'm gonna stick with you so that I can understand how we go about doing that. So even though it was a given, yes, but yes, I did have a choice also to say, even though I think at first encounter I couldn't say no, but I think after a very few sessions with you, I still had a chance to say, maybe let me go with someone else. But because of the engagements and the sessions we've had and the conversations we've had, for me it was like, okay, I'm sticking to this. Hence, again, later on, I decided to reach out on a personal level, just outside the school itself, to say, I want to continue on this journey as well, just on my own personal capacity.
Beautiful. One of the difficult things to believe by coaches when we start is this saying that it is your agenda. And people tend to say, but now they send me to you to coach me. Now you're telling me that it is my agenda. How did this sit with you, and how did you become familiar with this practice of, say, come to the session, coach will be there, and you need to have an agenda. And basically, you need to design your own journey. That must have been very difficult. I mean, somebody who's listening out there and say, I won't go to coaching because I don't know what coaching is all about. How will you present the idea of saying, go there and you have your own agenda and you will achieve something? Matheko, how did that sit with you? I mean, I remember the conversation I had in the very first sessions. This became one of the common discussions. Maybe if you remember, you can reflect and share with the viewers. How did you overcome that fear of having to have your own agenda that you don't have?
I don't know if there was a fear per se, Sam. So as you know, as I mentioned earlier on, being in the talent industry, you know, where we work across quite a large value chain of talent, of which some of our offerings can include leadership development. I was very, very familiar with, you know, some principles of coaching or the idea of coaching, and that it's not you giving me answers. It's reflective. It's a continuous thing. You're reflecting on a daily basis, or every time you have a session, or every time you're prepping for a session. And that's what sets out the design or the route that you are taking in the sessions, you know. So I was very comfortable with it. I wanted to enhance my strategic thinking, my leadership presence, my professional demeanor. You would have remembered, you know, the Matheko that you met before, who, you know, you could tell the confidence levels were low and all of that. And somehow I knew that too, you know, and I knew that this is the end result that I want to see. And I think what I'm trying to say is the end result in mind sort of maps the direction of the conversations that you have.
Absolutely, absolutely. We will always say, trust the process.
Trust the process.
You know? The coach will hold the mirror and just look into the mirror. You'll see a lot of the answers.
And that was very, very scary, Sam. If I can say that, regarding my first experience. Besides feeling like, oh my gosh, I really know nothing, I could also sort of see myself through somebody else's eyes, and that was actually very uncomfortable. To realize that, you know, you're lacking in leadership presence. You want to be a leader, but you're lacking in leadership presence. You're lacking in confidence, and your thinking. Maybe it's there. I mean, you assess well and all of those things, but it's, you know, you don't package your thinking well. I remember you even saying that, you know. So all of those things, it was very difficult pill to swallow. But with the end in mind, you push through and you come prepared.
And you started looking forward to the sessions.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, wonderful. It is an experience that we can only recommend to anyone out there to try, because it really gives you a 360-degree view of self. Hope you and I, when we were still then working with the colleagues at we had individual sessions and then we had group sessions. And I know that in the group sessions, we brought quite a number of models and frameworks. And we even went as far as introducing the Lekgotla African facilitation methodology. And I still remember that your team and your colleagues were quite very fascinated by this traditional indigenous model of holding sessions. Will you want to reflect on how Lekgotla was applied and adopted? Now, has that changed your team leadership practices until today?
One of the things that they were fascinated about, if I remember well, was the Indugu part. Yeah. When you introduced the Indugu part, because especially with professionals in a corporate environment, you always have different egos that you need to manage. Especially when I was the youngest in the whole senior team that we had at the time, and if I remember, you introduced where we could run meetings and take turns in running meetings and running those Lekgotlas. But obviously, with me being the youngest, and some of them were my managers at the time, and now having to be on the same level as them, it somehow made some of them feel a bit inferior in terms of their growth. But with the Lekgotla methodology, it assisted me as well in terms of running my meetings. It brought structure in the meeting as well. And I still use it. I was telling you some the other day that I've opened a group where I take guys. They call it stockfella in a way. So I teach the gents how to save and the benefits of saving. And we don't only deal with saving, we deal with life issues as well. So I've introduced the Lekgotla concept as well in that meeting. And it has changed the mindset as well on how we have those particular meetings, especially if you come from Soweto, where there's different dynamics on doing things in terms of running. There's people don't meet in a structured environment where a person can be given an opportunity to speak. Everyone wants to voice out what they want to voice out at the time. I took that same concept, introduced it with the gents, and said, gents, this is how we're going to do things. Before you even speak, I, as a person that's running the Lekgotla, I have to give you the indugu for you to start speaking. And until I do that, you're not going to talk. And when you are done talking, you have to bring it to me as the person who's running the Lekgotla. So with that as well, when they have the indugu itself, and you don't have a solid point to put across, they don't even take the indugu. So that has brought structure in our meetings as well. So I've taken it out from just the corporate environment and then just introducing it to everyone where in Soweto as well with my gents as well. So it's a very good concept, and especially in meetings, it brings a lot of structure, and people can learn to listen as well and talk when they have to talk instead of just everyone talking at once. So that concept,
and I can imagine behind that is the confidence that you have, having experienced it, that it works.
It works. It definitely works.
Yeah, beautiful. Now that was really a great time. I think one can reflect and say, before these methodologies and models and frameworks were introduced, what were the things that, when you look back now, you had to let go of? And what did you let in? And what has stayed with you up to so far, Eric?
I think for me, what has stayed with me thus far, I think in the beginning I did sort of mention, just want to add, similar to what Hope mentioned, it's just outside my corporate environment, as I've mentioned. Those two things, I just don't use it in my professional space, also in my personal space as well. Even with my family, actually. I always mention that the people that are around you, it's just, there mustn't be a waste. There's a reason why they're around you. You must learn something, unlearn, like I said, relearn something. They're not a waste. No one is there just to be a waste or just there, they're just present. Always use that person to an advantage, but I'm not saying abuse them, but use it to an advantage to learn something or get something out of them. So for me, that is already a state. Also, it's when I mentioned that, what's the worst thing that can happen? Whether I'm in the corporate space, I'm in a meeting, I've got senior people who are more senior than me, even the highest hierarchy in my organization that I'm currently in, even the highest person, even I can meet him in the meeting, I'll be not scared anymore. I will not even be scared, not living a little bit, because I always say, what's the worst that can happen? Anyway, when I'm in a corporate space, it's like, the reason I'm here is because I probably know actually better than you. That's why you are listening to me. So the worst thing that I can say is for you to ask me questions, and those questions I can answer confidently. So if I don't know, there's nothing wrong with not knowing as well, right? With not knowing, you can just say, I don't know, I can find out, or I can consult. I'll go to Matheko, I'll go to Hope, and maybe then come back to you. But if I know it on the spot, I will engage you so that you understand. So for me, I think the biggest one that is staying with me is that one, what's the worst that can happen? Would it change my name from Eric to someone else? Absolutely not. So for me, that one, it's for as long as it will not change the price of bread or change my name, really, let's move on to something else and just, for me, that's, I think, coming to it. Also, one of the things that actually helped me with my confidence levels. I think sometimes I'm over too confident. There's something that Hope mentioned, that today he thinks I'm a bit too relaxed. I'm actually too formal. Yesterday he says I was very relaxed. I'm saying the reason I don't want to, I'm trying to be a reserved person, because usually I do talk a lot. Apparently, I don't know if I do. Apparently, I do talk a lot. So the reason I look a bit too formal today is just I wanna not to be a person who talks too much, basically. Let me put it like that. But yeah, other than that,
I will have never say you talk a lot. I will say you quite very engaging. But that's how I experienced you during our journey. You know?
Okay, maybe I think that's the best. That's a better way of putting it. Actually, very much
because and as Hope will tell you, that's why we brought Lekgotla into that. The purpose of Lekgotla was not to make people to stop people from talking, but to make people talk interchangeably. So when they deny you the Indugu, it's not to say please don't talk. It's to say we'll give you your time when everybody else has had a time. And that really is fascinating, because those who used not to talk, all of a sudden they come up because we give them the space, and then they become confident and they contribute. And those who are engaging like yourself, they also appreciate that we can say, just hang on, let other people come in. When you come back, you will have your whole flow for as long as you have Indugu with you. So that's why I don't buy this thing of saying people talk a lot. I mean, it's really a question of, do we allow each other to come forward? And I think, Matheko, this brings me to another conversation I've had with you, how actually, even though we're coaching from a corporate perspective, how actually the coaching has actually even enriched and enhanced your personal situation, your personal environment. I don't know whether you still remember that conversation. You want to reflect on that? Because that was really one of the takeaways from our relationship that I can never forget.
Yeah. So one of our initial discussions, Sam, involved us going through the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And that's when I realized I'm in survival. And, to get to the peak, I needed to overcome many things. And I realized this is why I needed this journey. And I mean, through a big thing was also confidence, and just self-doubt, that I think had blocked my progress or was slowing my progress throughout my career. And another thing that just keeps coming through, and we've recently been doing it at SIGNIUM Africa, where we're doing onboarding coaching. So, I just also jumped onto that just to get a sense of the product offering and all of that. So that's our new product offering. Was another thing that helped my confidence is when we discussed the different levels of competence. Okay, the unconscious incompetence, all the way up to the
conscious competency model. That is
yes. So I felt it was very helpful because it made me realize that the individuals that I deal with, so I deal with boards, I deal with non-executive director, I deal with C-suites, and sometimes that could be incredibly intimidating because although I'm a specialist in terms of what I do, I'm not a specialist in terms of what they do and their environments. So that can be extremely intimidating, and you feel like you know nothing. But what helps me, or what has helped me, or the biggest thing I feel, one of the biggest things has been that model, because they too go through a time where, they're not always competent. They too go through a time, where they unconsciously incompetent, and so forth. And according to the, the four quadrants. And for me, that makes them human, and it gives me the confidence as well to step forward, because I'm competent in what I do, and it doesn't take away from who I am. So who they are doesn't take away from who I am. I think that's been the biggest learning. And I think it's a recent thing that I've discovered with coaching, that all these lessons that you've taken me through and all our sessions, they're starting to play out now, so it's not an immediate thing. I'm always remembering, oh yes, Sam said this, or I'm always paging through my book. Oh yes, I remember this. The book that you remember, I used to take a copious amount of notes the whole time because I wanted to take everything in. But it's a continuous thing. And it's been such a blessing because I've watched myself grow spiritually and emotionally and, and my mind as well, which is how you started all our sessions. So, yeah, I think that's my...
Absolutely. I do remember us having a conversation where we're saying that, listen, the coaching doesn't only happen during the sessions. A lot happen in between the sessions. And that's why we check in to make you fully present in the session, so that whatever we discuss get embedded into your subconscious mind. And at the right time, when you are in between sessions doing your work, these things will then show up, and then I couldn't wait for the next session for us to check in and find out what showed up in the session. Remember?
Yes. Absolutely.
And I think just hope you were looking forward for us to check with our ritual body, mind, and spirit, and just hooking it to what I've just said. That people think that maybe checking in is just a standard procedure that you need to follow, but it's more than that, because it's during checking in body, mind, and spirit that we take stock of our wellness. We take stock of our health. We reflect on what we did last time, and then of course we are encouraged to make sure that the body, mind, spirit ratio is balanced before we go into the session. You want to reflect on that? You're on mute. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I think for me, it's more of an introspection before you can even start a meeting, because if you start with the body, now you assess how you feel physically. And obviously that will lead to you now thinking of how you're feeling mentally and spiritually as well, where you are. Like now Matheko said that she's spiritually, she has grown as well. So, and there was I remember, Sam, there was an exercise that we used to do. I just forgot the name, where you would identify important aspects of your life, like your spirituality, your career, and that is
the wheel of life, and the lifetime line.
Yes, I've used that ever since. Even if I feel that I'm disconnected with what's happening in my life, I would always go back to that exercise and just draw my own wheel and see if it's moving or not. And from that point, I will now go back to who moved my cheese and looked at the change that's happening in my life. Am I being skeptical to change, or am I just stagnant in where I am? So I will always, coaching for me, it's more of an archive. So every situation that I go through in my life, I would always go back and say, okay, which one do I pull out in this situation? And then I look at, because I still have our charts, the ones that we used to write, I still have them, and then put it there and just see which one am I going through. And if there was a similar situation that I went through at that time, I would go back and reflect to what we discussed at that time. My biggest challenge were always having confirmations after our meeting. What has been confirmed? Because that confirms that you were thinking you were having a challenge, of which it's not exactly a challenge. What's the worst case scenario? What's the worst that could happen? You know, and then you look at, and then you start looking at the meeting, and then you start finding the aha moment there. Was there any aha moment for me in this whole conversation? And that you take even from the meetings that I have either with my boss or have with my HODs. Is there anything we are taking home after this meeting?
So it makes you to question whether you have invested time fruitfully, and is there anything to do with it, or you just walk away from the session?
Exactly. So that, as Matheko said, that you always go back. You know, when you've experienced coaching, it's something that you take your whole life. I don't think you can go through life without actually reflecting back to the coaching part of it. So people always ask me, do you prefer coaching or mentoring? And then for me, I would say coaching, because it's mostly about me. I'm selfish like that. And I remember when we get into meetings, you don't have a subject matter. And then you start checking in. And then now you reflect on things that you didn't even think that you were thinking about. And those, sometimes you'd find, those are the obstacles that are actually stopping you from moving. But with that process, it just assisted us to move throughout the sessions. And after the session, and you're going home, you'll know exactly what to do without Sam even telling you what to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's very dynamic and it's very real. I always, in the chemistry sessions, tell people, the new clients and coaches, that we're dealing with real life situations here. It's a real life stuff. Everything that ends up being discussed is what comes with you, and it penetrates. And that's why it has to be in a confidential space, because if you have built a rapport, you've connected very well with your coach, and you feel safe, you can be as vulnerable as you want. And that is almost like when you come out of that, you feel like I've dealt with what I have to deal with. You know, Eric, my friend, you and I, we had two phases. That was the phase during your MBA and the phase after. And I agree with you, the real robustness and dynamism of this coaching was in the phase after. Without going into details and disclosing confidential stuff, I remember we had to deal with internal conflict with self in terms of career direction. I mean, that was intense. As a relational coach, using generative listening capability, I could feel the heat inside you in me. And at some stage I said, are we going to get out of this situation? And when it happened, I was like, wow. Do you want to reflect on that, at those moments? I know you know, when you even went to that educational institution that you went to, I'm glad that you now with Standard Bank doing exactly that, what you wanted to do. I hope I'm not disclosing too much confidential stuff.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's not a secret. It's one of the things now, actually, I'm very vocal about. I'm very conversational about as well. I think you are quite correct, actually. You are right, actually. You've got a very sharp memory. It was you. Now you make me wanna vent. It was very hectic. It's one of those things. It took me a while, I think, even after our coaching sessions, to sort of let go the anger and the pain of that process. You know, it was very heated. It took me a while to actually let go of that conflict after our sessions. But again, based on what we were discussing in those sessions, it actually helped me to keep on reflecting, to say, okay, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. It took me a while, I must say. You are right. Those days were very hectic. Now,
the stakes were very high, Eric.
Absolutely. But I don't think now, whatever, given after our talks, I don't think I'll ever find myself in that space. I'm very sure I'll never find myself in that space or even let myself to be in that space ever again. I think, like you mentioned, that's why my blood is blue again, because that's where now I've found my path, I've found my way. I think the biggest thing I think at that point was for me lacking control. I like having control, right? If I don't have control, it frustrates me, right? I think you will see that's why those sessions were very heated, because I felt like I'm letting somebody dictate where I need to go, turn left, turn right. I think after that session, after those sessions of that time, now I know, like, I'm gonna pave my own path. I'm gonna set the direction. I'm gonna go. What's the worst case scenario? What's the worst that can happen? If it doesn't happen, I can plan, but again, I may plan, but it may not be the right path for me to take. But what's the worst case scenario? Build a new path for you to actually follow. That's why I'm in a better space now. So I think, yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, now that's beautiful to hear. And there were so many other moments. I will leave the rest outside this conversation. It's good to know that we had many bridges to cross.
Many bridges to cross, very, very many bridges to cross. I think even just reflecting now, one of those, again, this is one bridge that took me a while. There's plenty of them that took me a while to actually now cross over. Even when I've crossed over, it's one of the things that you keep on looking back to say, was I even supposed to cross that bridge? I think that's the most difficult part. Once you even cross the bridge, you keep on looking back to say, maybe I should go back. Maybe. I think it takes a while actually to move over that. But now, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah. Matheko, this is beautiful to relive the moments. We had such a intense discussion, I think for 2-3 sessions, Matheko and I, trying to fix the coaching goals, trying to align personal goals with the professional goals in terms of deliverables in that portfolio that you were in. That was even for myself, not being in the executive search space, when I listened to the targets and the goals that you had to achieve and the bravery you had to dive into the pool of, today is like I can eat from your hand.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was really tough, Sam. And I think the toughest part for me was delivering through others. That was the biggest challenge within my leadership journey, and not just delivering through others, but delivering excellence through others. Anyone can deliver through others. It's just the quality of the work that you deliver. And initially you want to sort of blame your team, but at the end of the day, you're the leader. So everything comes from you. You are the source, you are the root of everything. And yeah, that was one of my biggest struggles. But that also takes me to my biggest findings or my biggest discoveries, which was I have the answer to everything. And that's my favorite part about coaching. I have the answer to everything. And what you're doing is you're aligning my thoughts, or you're assisting in, putting things in order so that I can get to the answer and the solutions that I need to get. It was also the move from from operational to strategic. That was very tricky because I want to be busy and I just get my hands dirty, but that's not what the business needs me to be. And those are the things that I deliver through others. And it's been a challenge, and I'm still learning every day. Sam, I think the team at SIGNIUM, we're all still learning every day with regards to that. And I think a lot of leaders can speak to that.
Look at the beauty of that, Matheko. As we always say, that when you set the goal, that goal is not really the limit. Actually, when you chase that goal, you end up actually overachieving. I'm just thinking now, looking at your portfolio, how did Matheko get to a point where overcome all these target challenges, and now she's a group co-lead of ICT group with the global colleagues? I mean, that was far-fetched at that time. Now you need to tell us what from coaching did you take to apply to get to a point where now you are this co-lead of the international group of colleagues. I mean, maybe I'm making assumptions that are wrong, but I can only assume that you were in a conference with the colleagues all over the world somewhere, and they said, who can we choose to co-lead this? And something must have said Matheko, and what is it in your transformation space?
Sure. I think what led to that shift within me was my identity. I don't know if you remember, we had that discussion around like, who are you, your identity, your lineage, your history, your family's history. That's also really important to who you are. It made me realize who I am, because when I looked at my family history, you know, I got a sense of the achievements within my family, from my great-grandparents and my grandparents, and why couldn't I do that? And what was stopping me from doing that? And what I took from you is whether you believe you can or whether you believe you can't, you're right. So whatever you believe, so it's the belief system that also trust in myself, the confidence in myself that grew, stemming from, you know, an understanding of my identity. And we probed and you pushed me on that, you know, and we eventually got to the point. And I mean, I asked my parents, I investigated, I was driven to get to the core of everything, of who I was, so I could be the person that I was destined to be. And I think that's what, that self-belief, that knowledge of self. Yeah.
Yeah. And the universe responded accordingly.
Yes, it did.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope there's so many things that we had to rely on to deal with that complex environment of hospitality, you know. When people are experiencing such high stress level, and the people having to believe that they have to learn to manage the energies, we brought in mindfulness, meditation, and journaling. And I don't know whether you were with us when we went on a breakaway to the waterback. We used to have what we call mindfulness walking, you know, walk in groups and talk and come back and share with us what was the talk about, you know.
And having to read a passage at a given time. I remember you paired me with Lindiwe, and I took that experience since then. She could read the whole passage like so quickly, and she would explain everything that's there, which I found that was very, very amazing. And with mindfulness, having to just sit and having to reflect on everything around you, just putting your feet on the ground and just having to listen, you know, to every sound that's around you. And that was so amazing, because one thing about us is that there's so much noise happening around us, and having to experience mindfulness and having to use that sound to just reflect back into yourself and just listen to whatever is happening, but you're reflecting, you're taking it back to you. I think that's amazing. It took me back to one of the scriptures in the Bible where God says, "Be still and know that I am God." So I think it's linked to that as well, because there's so much noise happening. There's so much thoughts that we have. Just to channel our thoughts back to us, that was an amazing experience.
Yeah. No, it's yeah. That's why I say it's so nostalgic. You know, colleagues, you hope will tell you that we even came up with. I just chose one song that we had to sing together during the breakaways, and when we had an event back at Birchwood. And the one official event, we delivered that as a gift to the directors. It's like, you know, and it was really not about the song. It was about, you remember we had a discussion about the identity of the leadership team. And we had to find games to make people take that exercise serious so that we can actually have an identity of our own. Because Hope was part of the HOD groups, but then above them there was then also the GMs and the executives. So each of these groups had to have an identity of some sort that is informed by the individual development and growth. So I think I'm sure Hope you are in touch with everybody else that was part of that team. I think Birchwood contributed so much leadership to the entire industry.
And funny enough, I had Dwayne and David and Maggie worked at a convention center as a deputy GM as well. And then yes, and Dwayne and David worked for famous brands. So even after all these years, we're still in contact with each other, even though we went our separate ways when we left Birchwood. But we still have that strong bond that was built at that time. I remember when we went to Zebula for our strategy sessions. And the concept of those strategy sessions, I still use it with my HODs. It was so amazing that we could break away, have some time to get into business with the same goal, same mind, and after that, have time after the whole sessions, get to just relax and just have those conversations outside work. So I think that as well created a very, very strong bond between all of us, even though we're not working together anymore. But those exercises that we used to do, like I remember you took us away the first time I read Who Moved My Cheese. It was, you gave us a day each to finish that book.
Yeah.
And then we read it in a day, and then we came. It was so amazing how different people saw it differently.
Yeah.
But one thing was confirmed is that most people are scared of change. And whenever there's change, it comes with a lot of fear. And how to embrace the change? And do you stay in the maze, or you move around the maze to find the cheese? Or do you get comfortable in that cheese that you got and hope it will sustain you for the rest of your life? Or do you go out in the morning, wear your shoes and go and look for the cheese? So that's, even now, we bought that book 2 weeks ago for our strategy session that we're going to do with my HODs. That will assist, especially with the new management that I have, because I've got new managers, and obviously it will be a team building exercise, and how we're going to embrace that change going forward.
Wow. That book is classic, yeah. Yeah.
It is.
It's an old book, but
it's just amazing.
Yeah, it's a good book.
Yeah. Beautiful. I'm looking at time. This is so wonderful. I'm really, I don't know how to say it, but this is beautiful to reflect, you know. as we're thinking about the definition of coaching to help those who are wondering what is this coaching they're talking about, and also check out, I want to prepare our observers, Brother Emmanuel and Sister Lindiwe, just to tell us what they've had so far, and through them magnify our messages of reflection, from the reflection to our viewers. I want us to do it the ritual way of checking out, but while they're reflecting, also think of what you are going, how you're going to check out of this conversation. And I want us also to include your own definition of coaching without really quoting any scriptures and any books, just to simplify this for everybody else. I have a lot of questions I wanted to ask, but time is not on our side. The other point I want you to reflect on, there's this argument that Africa and the world, and South Africa in particular, needs coaching than ever before. I want you to reflect on that as to why is that so, and what can you say to those who are still wondering whether they need it or not. But let's get back to our observer guests. Emmanuel, brother, you are a coach yourself. I'm sure this resonates with you. What have you had from these wonderful guests of ours?
Thank you so much, Coach Sam, for bringing this together. And like Eric, I thought I would come last, but maybe because men are always ahead. So I will take the lead and try to sum up this. I don't know if this session can be summed into one thing. If I were to sum it into one word, that's exceptional. The guests, Matheko, Mr. Eric, and Mr. Hope, you shared a part of you, not only to us, but to the world. Coaching today is not just a want, it is a need in every, not at the professional setting, but at an individual level. Every one of us, I still hold on the belief that you and I, every one of us, need a coach. In a world which is transforming every day, which is changing, challenging, demanding, from your workspace, the corporates, to families, whatever the communities that we come from, coaching continues to play a role. And it is always going to be there, that the world today need a coach more than ever, need coaching more than ever. So Matheko, Hope, and Mr. Eric, thank you for sharing a piece of us with you. This is not just a session. It was an engagement. It was a promise to the people that coaching shouldn't be treated as an option. I was hearing from you, every one of you here. You shared one or two common things in all this that I'm going to sum up this nugget into, that you have shared into all this. It all starts as a story, with a story. Stories continues to bring or continues to build our journeys. Looking from where you guys started, Matheko, when all those, your colleagues, your founders and partners today, when they realized them, then they said this person needs, we think Matheko needs this. That is a story alone, and you never believed, or you never thought, or that never came to mind. Hope, from the time when you were with all those senior management team, and it happens that some people can just gauge you and say, this one is small, what are we going to learn from this? But through coaching, you were able to deliver something that today some people, some people don't follow, or some people today that continue to benefit from you. Even if you are not in that organization today, that where you started your coaching journey, but your presence there played or continues to play a crucial role into that. And then Eric, your journey from transitioning from MBA as a coaching, request at that time, and then you're now transitioning to the workplace. Now you are bringing coaching to be part of your journey. That alone is a story. So stories, one of the things that I always believe or that I always carry with myself is that if I'm able to share it with a story, then I can build one or two people. So our stories are not ours to just hold on to ourselves, but they are ours to share with the world out there to show what is possible. Then secondly, one of the things that I picked as you have shared, as you are sharing all your journeys, is that relationships are very crucial. No one is ever self-made. And it's a reminder to myself that I'm not self-made. No one is self-made. We are made who we are by the people that we meet on our journeys. The people that we meet, they make ourselves. They contribute immensely to ourselves. And it is our duty now to hold relationship dearly to our heart and continue nurturing to us. So as you grow up, as you transition into this coaching journey, you realize one thing, that coaching or relationships now, they're not transactional. It's not about the money. It's not about what can I get. One may wonder why I'm still connected to Sam at this point, and I'm here in Francistown City in Botswana, but we are still connected. It's because our relationship is not transactional. It's the relationships that build. I was hearing Hope that when he was saying, even today, he has all the people that, they used to work with him and the organizations that he served, that they are still connected with him. That's the relationship that we want to build. So it's a reflection that, as you transition in this journey, it's never about the transaction. It's about what can I get from this person, and then what can I give to this person? What can I learn from this person? What can I, what can this person learn from me as well? Let's say we go through this journey. So it's coaching. So that's the power of coaching. And that's why I say coaching today is a need in a world that is more challenging today, that is more changing with time. And lastly, I think one thing that I always say, that I've said, that I've heard now, is that we are our own pilots. COMETSA is celebrating almost 3,000 plus hours of coaching. If you were in the aviation industry, that achievement alone marks somebody or a pilot that have gone through rigorous, transition from just being, a graduate pilot to where they are. Even yourself in this coaching journey, we are in this journey. Now, some of us began yet, in a point where we didn't know anything, what we're doing. But we are here today, realizing the impact that coaching has for us. So we are our own pilots. And so it says that the question that Sam, one of the things that Sam always say is that when the student is ready, or when a client is ready, you will see the impact of coaching. So we have seen through your lives now, the impact that you are sharing with us, it's a story that, we can document and share with us. And I always say this again, Africa needs our stories. Coaching, whatever areas that we're into, be it your hotel space, and then your education space, the consulting space that we are into, Matheko. Let's compile all those stories and share with the world out there. You never know who is listening. And I want to say that one or two people that you are listening here today are getting impacted because of your stories. It's not just your stories, it's for us to build Africa. And Africa is built by the stories that we have. Let us own it. And I'm very encouraged to say, this was more than a session. This was more than a session. So we learned a lot from you. And then thank you so much, Brother Sam, for giving me this chance to come and observe how this is done. And it's really something that I take dearly to my heart, learning from people, and then we continue to also share other stories. One day we might be sitting at the same table, who knows? And then we share all the stories to this world. Thank you so much for this time, colleagues. Much
Thank you
appreciated.
so much. Thank you so much, brother Emmanuel, for those beautiful words. Indeed, Africa needs coaching. The world needs coaching, and we are the carriers of it, whether as a coach or as somebody has experienced coaching, now leading others using these coaching insights to inspire them. Thank you so much. Lindy?
Thank you, Mr. Sam. My takeaway is really from each member. I've been documenting and just listening, just being present, the importance of being present, from what's going on in your mind, your soul, and how it's all connected and how it's so fundamental. It's like a basis of everything that you do, whether it's in your workspace and in there, and that aura that you radiate for other people to figure out who you are. Matheko, you said you just were so vulnerable in terms of, how you figured out, or you learned how to figure out, what's going on, and that's so important for me, like, figuring out and being open enough to share and say, you know what, there's certain things in me, like that self-doubt, there's certain things that I need to figure out, and you were able to, put those things together. And there's so much things like, and Hope, you said, the art of communicating with that, making sure that each person has a chance to speak, and then, the Ndugu stops, and then the next person is able to speak. That's an art. Communicating is just, it's like an art. Yeah. And then also you also said, like, with this coaching, it's like an archive where you go back and you like that index, like, oh, I remembered something, and you're applying it, like, like the methods, you're applying it every day. And that's really good for me. And then Eric, with your conflict, internally, that's also being vulnerable, that you dealt with that and you were able to realize at that point in your life that this is what it was. And then you were able to get through it. And then when somebody like me is listening to it, I'm like, hey, I also deal with that. I also have that that session, that part in my life where I have to, like, reflect and say, you know what, okay, I'm learning this and I'm learning that. So there was a lot of things that I pinned and I wrote down, and making coaching more of a partnership, where that you have to be able to, come out and do the work, not people. Like, it's all about starting with you first, and then you develop, and then you be able to be a better person managing relationships and having this beautiful contact, like now, just trying to be a part of it and being observing. And thank you, Mr. Sam, for allowing me this platform to learn and unlearn and learn. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lindy. You summed it up. You and Emmanuel summed it up so well, and that is the whole idea that comes out of the Lekgotla methodology. That it's good to know when you are telling your story that somebody is listening and they're going to reflect on your story. So those who don't know the Lekgotla methodology, this is it, and that is very inspirational. That's very motivating. And if we can practice this in our own settings, where others are there to listen and reflect, and others are there to tell the story and inspire, and then together we grow. So the two colleagues, we've done it very well. Thank you so much. And I'm sure my guests are appreciative of this reflection and feedback. Thank you so much. I also want to acknowledge our viewers on the online, the platform, and Dadera Pula is part of us. He appreciated, said, I look forward to learn from the reflection. Tendani, all the way in Great North Limpopo, also appreciated. And I have Maggie here, Maggie Majeke, saying, great session. Thank you, Ntatesem and the panelists. I really valued the learn and relearn lessons. They resonated strongly with who moved my cheese. I would love to attend sessions like this regularly. We are currently working on how we can make a difference and bring change to other leaders through coaching. Thank you, Maggie Majeke, via LinkedIn. We appreciate your comments. And then I think we have, I think it's Tella. Let me see, Tella. We have Telfa, the Telfa 10 chicks. Well done on the work which you are doing, Sam and the team. So it's good to know that there are people out there that are hearing us. And then, of course, Portia did greet you. I'm sure you saw it earlier on. Evening family. So thank you so much for checking us on this platform. I think the message from Tendani was, Matheko, you mentioned of that after chemistry session with Senzima will make you reflect on so many areas of our development. I think that is an affirmation of what you said, Matheko, that the chemistry session made you reflect quite deeply. So thank you, viewers, listeners, and those that I can't see their messages because we are multi-streaming on LinkedIn and Facebook, many accounts there. So we appreciate your time being with us. Let me allow you, colleagues, to check out in your traditional way, starting with Hope. Almost said Cope. What was confirmed for you, Hope? Which aha moments you experienced during this conversation, new insights and takeaways and new behaviors?
Okay, my aha moment was the fact that we've experienced coaching in different ways, but it confirms one thing, and the importance of coaching. No matter no matter what level you are, coaching works on different levels. Doesn't matter what level that you are in life, but coaching can assist you navigate a lot of challenges in your life. And then my confirmation is that it was confirmed today how passionate I am with coaching. And then in terms of what I'm taking home today is that coaching is an everyday thing where coaching is every day, whether you do it formally or informally, it's always coaching. Even a simple conversation can assist another person in terms of you giving them guidance without even you noticing that you're giving them guidance and whatever they are going through. And what I'm taking home is that I need to go back to coaching.
Beautiful, beautiful. Great stuff. And Hope, how do our viewers continue being in touch with you?
They can get in contact with me on LinkedIn, Hope Mabaso, or on my socials, Facebook, Hope Ketla Mabaso, Instagram, Hope Mabaso.
Beautiful. Can they pop in for a cup of coffee at Garden Court?
Anytime. Anytime.
Beautiful. Matheko is saying thumbs up. She's the first to come.
Everyone here is invited for breakfast.
Yeah, beautiful. It's if you don't know where Garden Court is, it's just next to Sandton Convention Center. In fact, it's the same structure, right?
Yes, we are. It's a node. We call it a node. It's the Garden Court Sandton Convention Center, Sandton Towers. It used to be Intercontinental. Now it's Sandton Towers, and then we've got Sandton Sun. So we are the same node.
Beautiful. Yeah, ask for a deputy general manager. There's only one, and that's Hope. Thank you so much, Hope. Eric? Oh, sorry. Let's do the ladies first. Eric is gonna kill me for this. Eric, you'll be the last one to check out. Matheko.
Thanks, Sam. So my aha moment was, I think we actually all need coaching. Just to reiterate what Hope said, it's not about the level. At any stage in your career is when you need coaching. I mean, given the state that the world is in today and the amount of information that's thrown at us at all times. At all times of the day, at every single moment. I think coaching then assists in channeling that information, in channeling our thoughts, in processing our thoughts, because it's so convoluted with so much information and news and drama and social media. So it helps with channeling our thoughts. I think it doesn't help, it's instrumental. And it enables us to then achieve our goals, because you can see where you are and where you need to be and what you need to do to get to where you need to be. And I think so at any level, everybody needs that. My take home today was consistency. If you don't practice the principles that you go through during coaching, or that you're exposed to during coaching, you won't achieve what you want to achieve. So you need to show up every day in the way, in the structured way that coaching enables you to show up every day. To achieve anything, you need to be consistent, but you need to be consistent correctly.
Beautiful, beautiful. And once again, those who want to get hold of you, how did I get hold of you and SIGNIUM?
Sure. I'll just give my email address. It's matheko.waleng@signium.co.za. SIGNIUM has two websites. We have our global website, and then we have the Africa website. So it's www.signium.co.za, and the other one is signium.com. And there you'll see our SIGNIUM globally as well. I'm on LinkedIn as well. Matheko Waleng is what you'll find on LinkedIn. Please absolutely reach out. Happy to engage, to assist, to connect.
And of course, you are in the business of matching talent with opportunities. Am I right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, we cannot not talk about that, because once we have grown ourselves, we also want to be. I'm talking for the benefit of the viewers out there.
Absolutely, connecting businesses with the right top key talent. So we believe in great leaders who positively impact business, so society.
And you did mention that you have introduced coaching into your offering. Is that right?
Yes, we have introduced it's onboarding coaching. So after placement, after we place somebody as a CEO, CFO, it's part of our offering. It's a value add, and we just walk the candidate or the now incumbent through their first 4 months. It's onboarding coaching. It was put together by our leadership consulting team, our global leadership consulting team.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Matheko. We really appreciate sharing your story with us and reflecting with us. Thank you so much.
I've had a great time. I was very nervous, but you just beat the nerves and you show up. So thank you so much for just having me here and allowing me to sit with the other guests and just reflecting on our journeys and just being open about where we come from and where we are.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. Eric?
Awesome. Thank you for passing the Ndogu to me. Something I'm taking.
It's in your hands now.
It's in my hands now, and allow me, I can take as long as I want up until you take it. So I think for me, it's just, I wouldn't say really it's a takeaway, it's an affirmation, it's a aha moment altogether. I think my other two colleagues, they've already mentioned it around that we coaching, sometimes we think it's something that's optional, but it's something that we actually experience and live every day. Whether it's a conversation you will have with Lindy, with Matheko, but it actually is coaching if you think about it. Just having a conversation with someone, engaging someone, just talking to someone is also part of coaching. So for me, it was that, and also this Ndugu. I know it's something that we do know, but I think I'm going to be very intentional about it going forward to the Ndugu part. It's a very interesting one that I'm actually going to take home as of tomorrow. I think it drives structure. I know sometimes without realizing, but if you actually enforce it, you'll have a lot of structure, because we find ourselves in conversations and in meetings that are can be very unstructured. But if you enforce that, up until I give you that into you, I'm not giving you a chance to talk. So thank you for also that. I think it's one of my other key takeaways home. Yeah, that is my story. And I'm closing my chapter. How did they get hold of me? They can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm very active. I'll definitely respond anytime you send me a message there. Like you said, if they want to have coffee, I'm taking that coffee offer. By the way, I'm not going to let it go. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for engaging everyone, and also to the guests for joining us today and listening us to talking and engaging. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, my brother Eric. What a journey it has been. And we are grateful that we could journey together, if there's a word like that. And
Yes.
Thank you for all of you being accepting the invitation to come and reflect during this celebration of our 3,000 hours of coaching. The journey goes on. This is just the halfway to the destiny. And then, of course, once again, my observer guests, thank you very much for reflecting. Tuli has also dropped the note there. Tuli is also part of us. She was here when we had a session on coaching processes. She's a coach herself, Tuli Mfe. She says, well done for an inspiring session to you, Sam, and your panel and observers. Best wishes to all the panel members on their journeys forward. Thank you so much, Tuli. We appreciate. And then, of course, Hope's friend or colleague, Karabo Monana, say consistency is key. I think it must be somebody that experienced the Khotla with you, Hope.
She's my cousin sister. So obviously, we when we have meetings, we definitely use the methodology as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Karabo, for tuning in. I know you logged in from the beginning. I hope we really inspired you, and I can see your takeaway is consistency. Absolutely. And then, of course, my sister here, Lebogang Misacho, is also a member of COMETSA and a coaching enthusiast. Thank you for sharing your stories and inspiring us. Thank you, Lebogang, for tuning in. Always appreciate it. Thanks for that feedback. I'm sure our guests appreciate it. So there we are, ladies and gentlemen. Only time is what we don't have now. Thank you very much. Let me quickly inform you that the COMETSA Tuesdays are happening same time here on this platform. As I said at the beginning, the first Tuesday we profile our members. If you are a member and you run your own organization or a company or you work for a corporate and you are a member in good standing, the first Tuesday of every month, one day, it will be yours and yours alone. And don't miss that opportunity. The second Tuesday we focus on a very interesting topic, which I really am fascinated about it because I'm an author myself. We bring authors. It's called authorship and readership development. I can tell you now, we have an exciting lineup for the second Tuesday in July. Some great authors who have written books will be in the studio. The third Tuesday, we look at a topic like this. We look at executive coaching and mentoring, more so about the enterprise part of it. But sometimes we do talk about all other aspects. And then the last Tuesday of the month, I hope you will love this one, is the Lekgotla Tuesday. We take you through all the stages of Lekgotla up to the end. So make sure that you are part of that. And of course, we encourage people to join. We are not just a membership organization. This is a mastermind, ally mastermind group where you come and really be connected with other fellow professionals. One way COMETSA continues to support lifelong learning, development and networking and professional growth is through COMETSA Friends and Supporters Club. We have launched a new portal called My Membership Portal, fully digital. Just go to www.cometsa-goc.com. Right at the bottom, scroll down, you'll see there's an icon for join as a member or renew your member. And if you have your membership, if you have forgotten your password, just put your email and put forgot password. You will instantaneously receive a link to renew your membership and build your profile. That's where we will find many other members that are commenting here today. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That was COMETSA Television Network, the mind, the journey to destiny. We apply our mind to the journey that takes us to our destiny. Until we meet again, good evening and goodbye. Ladies and gentlemen, stay in the studio as we disconnect from our viewers.